Alrighty, g'day everybody, it's the Doga! It's time for the second installment of the Angels LP collection. These are reissues from about 1978 until probably the early to mid 80s. Probably 87 or so. Pretty much the majority of this particular collection is dedicated to the albums that the band had put out on the Albert Productions label, as they did reissue a number of the three albums, plus the compilation The Angels' Greatest, a few times. But we also got a couple of other extra ones included as well. Okay, currently I've got about 4 reissues of the Angels' debut album, which, as you may have seen in part 1, was originally from 1977. This one here is from probably 1978, 1979 or so. Similar blue label, but the original pressing was the last Albert Productions label to carry the infamous kangaroo. This one here is also a blue label. It might look black in the light here, but I do have a black one, I think. This one, I'd say, with no kangaroo, dates to 1978 or 1979. Again, apologies for the wrong kind of lighting in here. And side 2 as well. The band's debut album probably doesn't get as much love as the other 2 that they recorded for Albert's, due to it not having as strong as songs as the other 2. So, I think this next one here is the black and yellow reissue of the debut album. So, this one is indeed black and yellow. Best guess this dates to 1980 or 1981. Although Discogs are notoriously known for getting dates wrong, I don't think they had this particular one registered in their database when I used to go there. Back in 2019, I ended up getting into some serious heat with some of the so-called experts on Discogs that thought they knew better. Instead of actually guessing the correct year, instead they tried to screw people around. Okay, this one I believe dates to 1982. Still a black label, but with no border and the updated rectangular Albert Productions logo. Again, so-called experts on Discogs kept saying this was the 1980 version, but no. Clearly they have not been following the track of the Albert's label from that era. So this one definitely dates to 1982. I believe this was the last one to carry the original catalogue number, APLP 025. It was reissued in 83, 84 or so on the red label with the full writing around it, and the updated catalogue number of MID 166084. I don't have that particular version exactly, but I do have one which I'd say does date to around about 1987. I've got everything messed up here. This particular version reprints the entire rear cover to include the track listing, which was not present on the original release. The insert that originally came with the album was not included either, and as you can see, it now includes a barcode. This was actually the very first copy of the album I actually bought on vinyl. Probably close to 10 years ago now. It's a bit dirty, actually. Really need to start cleaning these. And mention the changed album code. I believe there is a CBS reissue of this as well, but I think I've seen it on Discogs, but I've not actually found a copy. So I guess that one dates to 87 at least. Last one cut by EMI before the move to CBS in 88, 89. Okay, now on to Face to Face. We have at least 3 copies here. Again, see the first part to see the original blue label pressing from 1978. Hang on, I've got too many in the one thing. There we go. Again, here's the front cover of the original Australian copy of the album. An identical image was used for the Angel City version from 1980. And again, check part 1 to see the interior gatefold cover. Let's see if I'm right about this one. Yes, this is the... I'd say this is the second pressing of the album on the black label and the yellow border. And side 2. My personal favourite out of all Angels albums, actually. Right up there with AC/DC's Power Age, Cold Chisel's self-titled debut album. It's my top 3 albums from 1978. I guess If You Want Blood, You Got It, which is a live album, would also count up there as well. And maybe also Rose Tattoo's debut album. Anyway, this possibly may be, again, the third pressing of the album. Again, probably dated to 1982. On the black label with no border. An updated Albert Productions logo. So even after the Angels had left Albert's, their Albert's albums were still locally pressed by EMI and released on the label. Excellent. And this pressing here. I think this one dates to 87 again, I think. Yes, red label from 1987. Again. I'm not so sure if there's a CBS reissue of this. There might possibly be one somewhere. Again, I don't go to Discogs anymore because of stuff. I mean, it's something I'd rather not talk about on YouTube. Okay, let's see. On to the band's third studio album for Albert Productions was, of course, 1979's No Exit. I actually played this in my car this morning on my way to my usual record store out at Carindale. This is a late 80s reissue, again probably from 1987. This version includes the track listing. Some really good songs on this album. And unlike the original pressing, this particular version is not a gatefold cover. But it does include the same style of label, which again would date this reissue to 1987. Not seen any other label variant. No black and yellow, no black without yellow, and no red with writing around the entire label pressing either. Anywhere, to be honest, so this might even be the only other version released on vinyl apart from the original. If anybody else has a different copy, let me know in the comments. That is, if you do. I do, however, have a New Zealand pressing of No Exit, which I'm guessing dates to either 79 or 1980. This one is a gatefold, and the cover itself is pretty much probably imported directly from Australia, but the LP itself is definitely from New Zealand. So this is not to be confused with the one I just showed a moment ago. Red label and yellow border, and up the top here, made by EMI New Zealand Limited. Very surprised to see a New Zealand copy of this album. About 2 years ago, I think I found this one. If not, it was last year. I don't entirely remember. So when I saw it, I had to grab it straight away. Not seen another one since. Alright, now we move on to the Albert's compilation album, The Angel's Greatest. I have probably almost every copy of the album, bar one. So you'll see the different Albert Productions labels that were used. Again, check part 1 on the channel to see the original blue label from 1980. Best guess, this particular one probably dates to 1981. Again, we are using the black and yellow label pressing. As mentioned before, this compilation pretty much has the majority of their best songs, plus the non-album track Who Rings the Bell from the 1978 tour EP, which I am still looking for a copy. I'm guessing it's quite hard to find. Okay, on to the next copy of the album that I have. This one, I'm guessing, is also a 1982 reissue. Black with no yellow, apart from the logo for Albert Productions, of course. Side 1. And of course, side 2. I think the majority of side 1 is mostly from Face to Face, with the exception of Shadowboxer and Who Rings the Bell. Okay. This one probably dates to 1983 or 1984. Red label with the writing around the entire label. It might look orange on camera, but you know, this stupid iPad just likes to play with the colours. They're not exactly accurate. Okay. Now, the 87 pressing with the writing around the top half only is the only copy of the album I am missing from my collection. But instead I have the CBS version from 1989, which has a different back catalogue number. This is the rear cover of this version, 465238-1. I also have this version on CD as well. Different Albert's logo on the back. It's CBS mentioned there in bold text. The EMI logo has been removed and the Albert's logo has been changed to the updated version. And you may have seen this logo before in a couple of AC/DC reissues that I own. Writing is now down the bottom and a different font is used. Not found this particular version on cassette. I do have a cassette. I believe it's on my cassette collection video, which shows off the majority of what I had at the time, and it's now a little out of date. Okay, there's still a couple more to go. Let's go to... I'd say this is a 1980s double issue. I'm not 100% certain where this comes from. But this is a gatefold that combines the band's 1980 and 1981 albums, Dark Room and Night Attack. Let me see if I can just... There we go. Yes, that's right, I put this on a box so I don't have to hold it up. So anyway, that's a better look. As you can see, 2 for the price of 1. The labels are pretty much identical to the original pressings. Again, check the previous part to see what they look like. Okay, on to the last 2. Now, you may have mentioned before that the Angels did release a couple of albums internationally under the name Angel City. Well, I do have 2 of those. This first one here dates probably to 1980 or 1981. This is the US version of Dark Room, under the Angel City name. As you can see, Doc Neeson's eyes are in colour, compared to the original Australian version, which they are in black and white instead. As you can see, the title is pretty much different. The track listing is also different. The songs I'm Scared and Alexander from the Australian version of the album are missing. Instead, we get re-recorded versions of Ivory Stairs from No Exit and Straight Jacket from Face to Face. I believe you can find those re-recordings on YouTube. I have heard them a couple of times, and to me, I think I prefer the original versions. The version of Straight Jacket on here has the longer intro that was usually done when the band performed live, whereas that was not on the original, and also Ivory Stairs is extended out to have a different ending compared to the original version from No Exit. Anyway, this is also on the Epic label. As you can see, different track listing here. Poor Baby's been moved to side 2 and Ivory Says is in its spot. I don't know why they would get rid of 2 of the better songs in the album, like I'm Scared and Alexander. Those are the 2 more rockin' songs. Instead, they kept them up slower the moment. Like, that's the sort of ballady one, that one. I don't know why they kept that one. I'm guessing that's what Epic wanted. Anyway, it's American pressing, I believe. Says on the Matrix here, mastered by Capitol Records. There you go, that's the first time I've actually noticed that. Unfortunately, the iPad isn't very good at picking up that sort of detail. Anyway, the last one here, this is a Canadian copy of 1984's 2 Minute Warning. Again, check the previous part to see the original cover. This is pretty much the same image, just with Angel City. And the rear cover, the track listing's been readjusted. The band re-recorded Be With You, which was originally from Face to Face and included here. The track listing has been readjusted. You'll see that Small Price is now the opener on side 2. Between the Eyes has been moved to side 1. Gonna Leave You has been moved to the end of side 2. And Run for the Shelter is missing from the Canadian album. The insert is pretty similar to the Australian one, only it's reversed colouring. It was originally white with black text on the Australian copy. And this image of Doc Neeson is pretty much the same as well. I think this is, yeah, it's on the MCA Canadian label. It's even got mentioned down here. Interesting, it mentions 1980 down the bottom, but that has to be a screw-up somewhere on the bottom text down there, because the album is actually from 1984. The re-recording of Be With You was released as the B-side of the cover of We Gotta Get Out of This Place here in Australia. Personally, I think this version of the album, it's missing my favourite track from the album, Run for the Shelter. That's probably the only song that they recorded here. And that's it out of this particular lot. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below and subscribe to the Be a Good Doga YouTube channel, because eventually I will get to the Angels singles. I have 7-inch and 12-inch singles to show in a future video. And be sure to check out the Angels and let me know if you do, and be sure to listen to their stuff, because they have some good albums, even if 2 Minute Warning is probably not their best. But until next time, this is the Doga saying have a lovely day, everybody. Be sure to stay safe wherever you are in the world watching this, and we shall see you again.